It was a quiet Tuesday evening at Lulu's Diner, a modest spot nestled in a small Californian town. Sarah, a young waitress in her mid-20s, moved swiftly between tables, her apron weighed down by pens, notepads, and the stress of the day. She worked long hours to support her mother, who was battling a chronic illness, and every tip mattered. At one of the corner booths sat a man in a simple black jacket, his hair slightly disheveled, reading a worn paperback. Sarah approached him with a tired but polite smile. "What can I get you tonight?" she asked. He looked up and she froze for a second. It was Keanu Reeves. But Sarah, too tired to react with awe, took his order like any other customer. "Just a coffee, please," he said, his voice kind but quiet. Little did Sarah know this encounter would soon change her life. Keanu sat quietly, sipping his coffee and observing the bustling diner. He noticed Sarah's hurried movements, the way she juggled multiple tables with a forced smile. When she returned to refill his cup, he asked, "Busy night?" Sarah sighed, her polite demeanor faltering for a moment. "Always," she admitted, then quickly apologized. Keanu waved it off. "You seem like you work really hard," he said, his tone genuine. Sarah nodded, hesitating before sharing a little about her life. "It's just me and my mom, and she's not well. I'm doing my best to keep us afloat." Keanu listened intently, his expression softening. He didn't press further, but Sarah felt strangely comforted by his quiet empathy. As the evening wore on, Keanu stayed at the diner, observing the small but lively world around him. When Sarah brought his bill, he handed her his credit card without glancing at the amount. As she swiped it, she noticed something unusual. He had added a tip that was 5 times the total bill. Her eyes widened, and she rushed back to his table. "Sir, I think there's been a mistake," she said, holding out the receipt. Keanu smiled. "No mistake," he replied. "Consider it a little help." Sarah was stunned, her throat tightening with emotion. I can't accept this," she stammered. "You can," Keanu said firmly but kindly, "and you should." Before Sarah could protest further, Keanu stood and reached into his pocket, pulling out a business card. "Call this number tomorrow," he said. "I have an idea that might help you and your mom." He left the diner before she could respond, leaving Sarah clutching the card, her mind racing. That night, she told her mother about the encounter. "Do you think it's real?" her mother asked, her voice tinged with cautious hope. Sarah wasn't sure, but she decided she had nothing to lose. The next day, she dialed the number on the card, her hands trembling slightly. The call connected her to a foundation run by Keanu Reeves, dedicated to helping individuals in need. The person on the other end explained that Keanu had arranged for Sarah's mother to receive top-notch medical care at no cost. "He wants to give you both a fresh start," they said warmly. Sarah felt tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness. A week later, her mother was admitted to a renowned clinic, her treatment fully covered. The doctors were optimistic about her recovery, and for the first time in years, Sarah felt a weight lifting off her shoulders. Keanu's generosity didn't stop there. He quietly funded Sarah's education, allowing her to enroll in nursing school, a dream she had long put aside. When the news of his acts began to spread, Sarah's story quickly went viral. People were captivated by the humility and compassion of a man who had quietly changed the lives of 2 women. "He didn't just help us financially," Sarah said in an interview. "He gave us hope and reminded us that there's good in the world." Meanwhile, Keanu avoided the spotlight, refusing to comment publicly on the story. "It's not about me," he told a friend when asked. "It's about giving someone the chance they deserve." Despite his silence, the impact of his actions was undeniable. Inspired by his example, others began reaching out to help struggling families in their own communities. Donations poured into his foundation, allowing it to expand its reach and assist even more people. Months later, Sarah graduated from nursing school, her mother watching proudly from the audience. She reached out to Keanu, inviting him to the ceremony, but he declined, saying he wanted her moment to be about her. Instead, he sent a handwritten letter. "Your strength inspires me," it read. "You've earned every bit of this." Sarah framed the letter, keeping it as a reminder of the man who had believed in her when she needed it most. As Sarah began her new career, she dedicated herself to paying it forward. She volunteered at clinics, offering free care to those who couldn't afford it, and shared her story to inspire others. Her mother, now healthier and happier, often accompanied her, cheering her on at every opportunity. Keanu didn't just change our lives, Sarah said during a local charity event. He showed me how to use what I've been given to help others. A year later, Sarah received a call from Keanu's foundation inviting her to a private dinner with him and other individuals whose lives he had touched. At the dinner, Keanu greeted her warmly, asking about her career and her mother's health. "You've done amazing things," he said, his tone genuine. "I'm proud of you." Sarah thanked him, her voice filled with gratitude. "I wouldn't be here without you," she said. Keanu shook his head. "You would have found a way. I just gave you a little push." The evening ended with laughter, shared stories, and a renewed sense of purpose. For Sarah, it wasn't just about what Keanu had done for her. It was about how his kindness had inspired her to believe in herself again.